Hello, people. How's the people doing? I came on live 1 hour ago, but no one was here, so I wanted to do it again 1 more hour later, just to see if a couple of people will be coming on, so we can talk. We can talk. Why does Belgium? Hey, greetings, man. How you doing, bro? Thanks for coming on. What's good? What's good, my man? Apparently it's Saturday, but like I don't know where everyone is. Like, it's the second time I came live and people are not coming on to watch. Morning trees. Nice, man. Nice to hear from you, man. How you keeping up with the quarantine? I know it's like we got. It's been a strong 2 months, for everybody. Yeah, everyone is on the George case. Everyone is on the George case. That's what we are on. It's like this is what we do, We like we just live on trends. Something comes up this week, and then everybody gets hit on it. It's like a breaking news, and then after the week gets over, when the other week starts, and then there's another breaking news. So we all just go through breaking news, and then we don't actually solve anything. We don't actually solve anything, not at all. Yeah, we hope it's the beginning of the end, but I don't think it's going to be the end of quarantine now. I think there's going to be a second wave to come with, because where I am, uh, we had a couple of cases this week. We are still having cases this week, even though the government decided that the economy should open up just a little. A couple of businesses should open up so people can go back to work. So yeah, we live in trends. Exactly, and the US is the center. Yeah, the US is actually the center of attraction. It's like the thing is like it has to do with popular culture. Where everybody is is needs entertainment, and okay, we need entertainment, right? Where does entertainment come from? It comes from America, and those who entertain us in America are like those who are in Hollywood, and then you have and the musicians too. So anything that happens there is like somehow we feel affected. Why? Because that is where we get most of our entertainment from. It's not like you don't sit home and you watch movies made in Germany or made in China, or or Japanese movies or Korean movies or French movies. No, most of the time you watch only Hollywood blockbusters. Captain America, all these Marvel things. This is what we watch. Netflix is just full of all Hollywood movies. So most of what is happening in the world is kind of like the internet. The internet kinds of control us in some way, because we are being controlled by something that we do not live inside. We do not live inside the internet, but it is controlling us in the sense that everything that you want to do apart from your job or having a family, you go inside the internet to think, to look at other people living in their own spaces. Yeah, they have the media in their hands. The mainstream media is all there. I mean, think of it like other countries have their own national television, right? They have their own their own broadcasting televisions. For us in Cameroon, we have CRT. But CRT, but no, I mean, 80% of people worldwide they don't watch CRTV, but 50% of people worldwide they watch CNN. They watch most American news channels. But the American news channels, they never report what happens in America. This is the trick. This is what happens. They never report what happens in America. You don't know what is happening in America unless a black guy dies, an African American dies, that's when you hear that something is going on in America. But the fact is that America is the most destabilized country in the world, even though it's helping millions of people, right? It's a free country, it's helping a lot of people, but it is so destabilized, man. People living in other countries, they have to be so grateful that they are living in the country they are in. Living in America is like, yo, you never know what happens. It's going to happen to you, especially if you are black and African. It's a tough journey. The whole world knows CNN, the whole world knows CNBC, the whole world knows Fox News. So whenever there's something going on in the world, when there's a breaking news, these are the channels that report everything. They're the ones telling us the information. But these people, they will never tell us the truth about anything happening. Never. They only give us something that they want us, something that they want us to follow and they want us to believe in. Yeah, man. Like you said, the world order is like, yeah. I think like the world is about to go into a new order. You know, it always happens like this. For the world to go into a new order, there has to be a crisis, a very big crisis. So the economies fall down, and then some government, some powerful government comes up, and then they'll be like, they want to bail out the world. You know, they're like, no, we have a strong economy, we have money, so we're gonna give you some money, we're gonna loan you some money to your governments, and then once you take the money from these powerful and rich governments, you become their slave because you do whatever they want you to do. Maybe they don't want their money back when it's time to give them payback. Then they'll be like, "All right, we need you to participate in this project, in this agenda. You have to do it because you owe the money." But that's how the new world order forms somehow. You know, as I said, like anything that happens it goes way deeper than what we think. We are looking at the virus and we are like, all right, the virus came from China. That was the news. It doesn't matter where the virus came from. Every country, most countries have something they call they have these labs, right? These labs where they they experiment on viruses, you know, and the experiments they make on viruses, like they try to find cures for viruses. Yeah, but they have to be super careful because they know that if any of these viruses that they're experimenting on, if it goes out of the lab, it's going to be a worldwide pandemic. So it is. There are two hypotheses to like coronavirus. Either somebody let it out, or it was a mistake. Yeah, if China is trying to take control of the world order, I mean, it means in the chessboard they have in the chessboard, in the world chessboard, right? Because like you know, there's a chessboard that world leaders are playing on. Everyone is playing the game. Big business people, this is what they do. They play games. If China wants to take over the world order, it means in the chessboard they are playing in the game that they play with the other world leading countries like Germany, like France, like America, like Canada, like Belgium. You know, like Japan, like Korea, like Singapore. These are also like big countries that are into this chess. So if China is trying to take over, then they are ahead of something. They probably have leverage on something, you know, to take over the world. You need to have a certain amount of leverage that is bigger than the actual economy of America. Because looking at America is like the empire that helps other countries as well. Like and like they take part in all decisions, in most decisions, you know. Like man, like these guys, they just create wars in the Middle East. Like think about this. You have a continent like North America, right? All right, you have 50 states or 51 states. All right, there are governors there, but there's one president governing this country. All right, there are other organizations like the World Health Organization, the United Nations, and you have the World Bank, and then you have the how do they call this other bank? The International Monetary Fund. Okay, all these big governments, right? They are part of these organizations, but the Americans, or let me not say the Americans. Now I will try to generalize it. They are those who are ruling America. They are the ones making decisions in these organizations. Just think about it for a second. So if China is trying to play a chess game where they have um, they have one of the points of the king where they want to move forward, then they must have a certain leverage over the other leaders, over the other people who are on the chessboard. So it goes way deeper. It's something I can understand, but at some level, I have a certain knowledge about the game too. You know. So that's what's up, man. So I mean, like we just have to like pray for our own individual spaces. And what I mean by that is like there is there's a thin line, between, because look, this is what's happening. If we sit and believe, if we still believe in our governments and think that they are our saviors, no, this is not the time. We are not longer in the 1930s or 40s or before the First World War and after the First World War, when these major wars happened, right? Okay, our governments, the major world governments, they were the one fighting. So after that, they created organizations like the UN, the UN, to keep peace in the world. Okay, now going to the 1980s and 1990s, the governments in the world, they were the ones say, controlling the economy, the trade, migration, everything. That what man, they control everything, you know. Even though we come from our own countries where we are given passports to travel, but before you travel, you need a visa. You need a visa because other countries, they put these policies that before you come to our country, you need a visa. You need to go to a certain scrutiny to come into our country. But look at us in Africa. If for Europeans to come to our country, there are certain there are certain countries in Africa that if you want to go there from Europe, if you're a European, you need a visa. But you don't go through the process like we Africans when we're in Africa, when we want to go abroad. The process that we go through, man, it's a lot of it's a lot of paperwork. You go through a certain scrutiny, then you have to pay a lot of money just to travel to a certain country. Not to talk about your flight ticket, talking about the visa that you have to pay. And if you're going for school, right, you need maybe a certain amount in an account in some country. So talking about this, and when you actually go there, it's not like you want to go and be a gangster or a thief. Like you're going there for your own personal reasons, Maybe you're going for further studies or you want to go and work. That's just it. But if the Europeans want to come to our country, they don't have to pay that much amount. I don't think Europeans need to pay $500 or euros just to go back to Africa to go and visit. It's so funny. The process and the wait is so funny. Yeah, talking about 2020, oof, it's been like I was talking to a friend last night. We're having a conversation, like a deep, very deep conversation about the pandemic that came up 2 months or 3 months ago. All right, this thing started like in China. It started in December, obviously, because for the virus to be able to spread worldwide in 2 3 months, it must have been out way back, maybe 4 months ahead. So people must have flew, from China, from this one place in December, traveling around the world. And then there must have been certain symptoms in January and February, but the governments certainly were keeping it low. But when it blew out, like they were not able to hide the information anymore. That's why they just had to come out and say, okay, to say, okay, China has a virus. Because it's like 2 or 3 months ago that the media came and told us that the virus came from China, right? Yeah, they said that it came from China 2 months ago. But they knew that the virus had been out from China back in December. So why were they keeping it? So you see, like, this is all the game. This is the game they're playing, bro. Yeah, it must have been out ever since. It must have been out ever since, and they knew about it. They knew about it. They knew about it right on back in December that it was out, but they were hiding the information. And then when it blew out, when it went worldwide, when like 50% of the countries worldwide, they were aware of this, and the people were started panicking. They came out and said, "Oh, it came from China." This is what they came out and say just 3 4 months ago. But they knew that it was around a long time ago. So this is the game they're playing. They knew it, but they were hiding it. So why are they hiding it? If they're hiding it, I mean, everything in the world is business, right? It's just business. Everything runs on. Everything runs mostly on money. Everything has to run on money. Even the big organizations, they depend on money to run. Even countries, they depend on money to run their economy. So those who are on the chessboard, those who make the rules, I'm not talking about the rules in individual countries. I'm talking about the rules that the leaders in the leaders who are above presidents, because there are actually people that are who are above presidents. They are the ones making the decisions. These people, when they sit down to make a decision, they are like, all right, how do we want the world to move? How do we want the world to be like in 2020? They sit down, they come up with certain propositions. They're like, this is how we should do, this is how we should do. Whatever they want, they make it happen. They don't care. It doesn't matter. We don't matter. They just make it happen. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what people are not able to understand. You know, that's not what people are able to understand. It's not like the mainstream media or didn't know that this thing was out in December. They knew, but they were keeping it low until it blew out. Everyone was aware that all right, there is something out there, and then the media came and said, okay, China, it was in China, and then they started talking how it came out in December. Nah, man, like like there are just certain people right now who are not in that wall of lies anymore, where you can just sit and tell people like, yo, um, like like the Americans did, and they went into Iraq and took Saddam Hussein. They told the Americans like, yo, these guys they have weapons of mass destruction. We should go there and take them. No, they had their personal reasons to go there. They went there, they took the guy out. They told the American population like, you, this guy, he has atomic bombs. He's gonna threaten us at some point. So the Americans were like, this is what the American government does to Americans. They frighten them. To rule over people, you need to frighten them. So when you create a problem, a crisis, a chaotic problem, like the corona thing, all right, you can now use that problem to bring out solutions that benefit you, even though it benefits the public. But the thing is, like, it's a business kind of thing. You will think about ways of using the problem that you created to make money out of it. So they went to Iraq. They took Saddam out. They got their cocaine, because actually they were there just for the cocaine. And then they went to Libya and said, no, Gaddafi is a dictator. Take him out. Why? How the hell does the United States of America decide who is not a dictator in Africa? An African president. Why is his people? Why are his people not fighting for it? It's like in Cameroon, we have our president, right? Okay, Paul Biya. We the people, we know how our country works. So if we want to take Paul Biya out, we're gonna take him out on our own. We're gonna ask for it. We don't need a foreign country to come. A foreign country is only gonna come unless they have something to benefit inside. If there is oil, they're gonna come right away. Just like in Nigeria, man. Boko Haram is not we no longer hear about Boko Haram. Why? Because Nigeria has oil. The American military, they are there. They are helping the Nigerian army against Boko Haram. That's just it. It's all about profits. It's all they always have secondary motives, man. Nobody gives a shit about no other country unless you got something to give. We don't need anyone to come take our president now. We can do it. But if they find out that there's something inside, they'll create another, they'll create a scenario, or they'll create a scene and say, look, this president, he's a dictator in his country. People are dying in his country. He's killing people. So we should take him out. This is what they're going to do. This is what they did. And they took Gaddafi out. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if Gaddafi was a dictator in his country and his people were suffering. Nobody out of Libya had to make that decision. Like, let's go take him out. The people had to make that decision on their own. Like, yo, we are tired of this. Let's go take him out. It had to be the people. Yeah, for real. Nobody gives you nothing for. Nobody gives you something for nothing. That's just the rule of life out here. That's just the rule out of it. But it comes down to a certain perspective, in life. Like, you might be in the position to where you are able to help someone without wanting anything in return of them, just because you have sympathy, empathy for them. You just want to help them out. You don't necessarily need anything in return. All right, there might be some other circumstances and instances that you might need something in exchange. So someone might have something you have, something you need. In order to get what you need, they might ask you for something you have that they also want. Now, then, you can understand that you can both do a transaction, but you can also do a peaceful transaction. Where everybody takes what they want and then everybody goes back where they belong in peace. They don't have to be no war. But the war leaders, this is what they always do. They always try to create problems, always try to create wars when there is no war. Where there don't have to be any wars. So that is what's up. Talking about George, I was coming live to talk about that. Certain people, man, like 1 month ago, an African American was shot in the street. He was jogging. And 2 white people in his neighborhood, they shot him. Like, they were actually chasing him like he was an animal, trying to chase him in the street. It was a father and his son, and then they pull out their guns and they shot this guy in the street, bro. You shot him in the street. For what reason? Like, for what? Like, when you like if you think deep, what is actually going through white people's minds, certain white people's mind? Because like, when you this is the thing, when we talk about racism, right? Everyone thinks like every white person is a racist. Nah, not every white person is a racist. I don't even like the term racism, because once you say that somewhere, it's like you try to generalize it, like every white person in Europe or in America or in South America or in Canada, they are all racist. No, not every white person is racist, man. And I don't even think that. It just the thing is, like, the fundamental thing about racism is like everyone knows their privilege. Like, we Africans, right? We simply know that we are Africans. We have forgotten like who we are, because certain Americans and Europeans, they know who they are, they know their lineage, they know their history, they know where they come from. So they grab on that history, on that privilege that they have. They grab on how they had money and how they have actually contributed to the building and the construction of their countries. This is the white man's privilege. So every human has a privilege, because every human has energy in them, energy that they are able to use it to get what they want. We can either use that energy for good or for bad. That is the privilege that every human has. That is what I call privilege. To me, there's no such thing as white privilege or as black privilege. No, the only privilege we have is our energy. We use our energies to get the things we want, to get the things done that we want them to done. We either do good things or we do bad things. That's the privilege that we have, because we do not create these energies. It's something that was given to us. We are born like this. We are born with these things, but we choose how we want to live our lives. The white people, they have chosen how they want to live their lives. Now, if you want to categorize that as a white privilege or as a racist, now that is only on you. Don't look at it that way. It's not about racism or whatever. Because certain white people, they don't have any knowledge of who we are. Because you cannot understand something you don't know. Some of them haven't been to Africa, you know. So when they see you, immediately in their brain, what turns on is like the only thing that they have heard about Africans is what is in their brain. But if they don't learn, if they don't go out, if they don't try to foster, if they don't try to like have more knowledge on who other people in other countries are, they will never know. They will stick to what they want to know. For instance, okay, let's put ourselves in the white people's shoes. If like Africa was the first nation in the world, so developed, you know, and we're not called like third world countries, because this is how they call us, right? They say we come from third world countries. If we actually were most developed people, like the only thing we will have is that we had the knowledge and the capability to be the most developed continent in the world. That's what we have. I don't think I don't think like thousands of years ago when Egypt, which was the actual place where civilization began. I don't mean where the human race began. I mean civilization in the sense that that's where man started building. You know, architectural wise, started an economy where you can control people based on by placing jobs in certain categories, be it education, be it politics, be it this business, be it law or whatever. It started all in Egypt. This is where it started. Where was Egypt? It was in our continent, in Africa. But if you say that the Egyptians were so happy and privileged about their lives that whenever anyone wanted to come inside Egypt, they would say, no, we don't want you here because we are so privileged. We have everything, you know, stay out of our country. Nah, I don't think they did that. Maybe some of them did that, but it didn't happen. There is no record of that. There is no record where it says like Egyptians send people away. All right, you have another big civilization like Rome, right? After Egypt ruled the world, you also had Rome. You also had Babylon. All right, I don't have a lot of knowledge about the Empire of Babylon, but I have certain knowledge about the Empire of Rome. When Caesar was ruling, I mean, Rome was a place where it was like America, right? It was not just like it was not just about it was not about the Romans or the Italians or the people in Spain who were living in Rome. It was just like it was the Jews, it was the Greeks, it was the Africans, it was the Indians, people who came from Asia. They were the ones living there. They were the ones who made up Rome. That was what Rome was made of. That was how Caesar was able to rule. Not because he was not just a king because he was able to rule in Rome. No, it was because there were so many other countries that came to live in that big land that was so civilized, other than other people, more than other lands. But it was just based on what? It was based on their economy. They had a good economy. So traders from Asia would come to Rome to trade and their goods, their spices, and then go back to Asia. Certain people were there for religion. The Jews were there for their religion. You had the priests. This was it. It's the same thing in the world. We have our own religion. So there are certain places in the world where, okay, for instance, you have big religions like Catholicism and Protestants. It's the same thing like it was in Rome. There are priests who are just out here for the religion business, just as there are other people who are out there for the political business. But you have a center of it. Now our new Rome in this world is the United States. That is where you find everybody from Mexico, from Brazil, from India, from China, from Japan, from Korea. That is the only continent where you find the entire human race there. Even pygmies, you find everyone. Everyone goes there. Why? Because the only thing that is there is their economy. It's not like the architecture that they have there. It's not any other country is not able to build the same architecture. Look at Singapore. What is Singapore? Singapore is like 10 years away from the US. The US is not close to Singapore. Look at Dubai, right? In the Middle East. These are places that are somehow developed more than certain states that are in the US. And even more than certain countries that are in Europe, they're in Europe, they are also poor countries. So it is just about the people, you know, it is about the people. When the people think that because their countries are developed or because they have a certain you know, a certain color on their body, they think about that like, you know, my color makes me privileged. What privilege about what? Like, what are you privileged? Like, what are your privileges? What do you have? What even gives you your privilege? Like, apart from the fact that you are a human, like I'm African, or you're European, or you're white, or whatever. How, like, what makes you think that you have a privilege apart from the fact that you have an energy in you that you're able to use to do good and bad? That is the only privilege that I know that we humans we have. That's the only thing. Because if the American government falls today, what are the Americans gonna do? Without the army, what are they gonna do? Nothing. They cannot do anything. Without an army or without your government, you cannot do anything. But me, without an army, without a government, I will survive anywhere. I will live in the forest. I'm gonna survive. If there is no, I if there is, if the like electricity goes out today for the next 1 year or 2 years, I'm gonna survive. I know how to live in the forest. But most white people, they don't know how to live in the forest. I know how to live in the forest. So that's my privilege. I have the energy in me to be able to live in the forest. You know? Yeah, it goes to the mind. And the army is made up of people from different cultures. Exactly. The army is made up of people in different cultures. That's what I'm saying, man. The American economy is not because of the Americans. It's because of the people who are there, who come from different countries. That's what it's made up of. That's what America is made of. Now, I mean, 2 3 months ago, an African American was shot, right, by certain white guys while he was going jogging. And then a couple of weeks later, some other African American gets killed while being arrested. Like live, like people who were surrounded, who were around the store, they filmed it. While the cops, there were 4 cops there sitting on this guy. Like, how do 4 people sit on one guy? Why didn't they arrest him and put him in a car like other, like the normal routine? When you arrest somebody, you put him in your car, at the back of your car, and then you let him there. Why did they kneel on him? They said, all right, he was resisting. All right, if he's resisting, you already have handcuffs on him. You have tied him. You have 4 of you. Why don't you take him and dump him at the back of your truck and then shut the doors? Why do you sit on him? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? For him to stop? They said maybe they wanted him to stop resisting. How do you 4 of you want one guy to stop resisting when you already have him in handcuffs? That's the question people are not asking. They wanted to kill the guy. It's simple. They wanted to kill the guy. You know? They wanted to kill the guy. Somebody cannot resist the cop for more than 10 minutes. No, I mean, you can resist the cop for 5 minutes, but not more than 10 minutes. 4 cops on him. Do not want to resist that. And then people come out and they say, oh, this is what people are just shouting all over. This is what you see. Race, racism, this. Nah, it's not about race, man. It's not about race. It goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. Somebody actually, because when an African American gets killed, right? All right, in every state in America, they have police departments. Don't you think that their superiors talk to them? Like, yo, I mean, they must give them a certain kind of lecture every whenever an African American is killed, right? They're in every police department, their superiors have to give them a certain lecture. They have to talk to them that when you guys go out, this is how you have to behave, this is how you have to act. But why does it keep happening? The question is, why does it keep happening? I mean, because even the cops, right? Think about it. Even the cops, individually, all right. What are they thinking? Like months ago, the cops, they knew that their fellow um, companion killed an African American. They know it, but they go out again and then they still do it themselves. So what is happening? Why are they doing it? Why don't they avoid it? They're not scared. Like wouldn't you be scared if you're working with the police force, right? And one of your colleagues kills a white person. Let's say, for instance, a white person. Wouldn't you be scared when you go out on patrol, wouldn't you be scared to arrest white people? You would definitely be scared. But think about it, bro. It goes way deeper. If these guys, after African Americans are killed, and they come out and they still do it, then what is happening? It means somebody is telling them to do it. It means somebody has an agenda. It means somebody actually wants something. Somebody actually wants a war. That's just it. Because I, as an individual, if I'm working in the police and my colleague kills a white person, when I go out on patrol, I'm going to be scared to arrest white people. Or even if I arrest a white person and they're resisting, actually, there are always two people on the patrol. I'm going to tell my colleague, all right, so long as we have them in handcuffs, we dump them at the back of the truck, we shut the door, and that's it. You take them to the police station, you put them there in the prison, and it's fine. You leave and you go, your work continues. But to hold somebody on the ground, for what? Why are you keeping them on the ground for more than 10 minutes? Just to say that they are resisting. Resisting what? 4 of you. How is one person resisting 4 of you when you have him in handcuffs? It goes deeper. Somebody actually wants them to do it. They are not scared because somebody has actually told them, like, look, I want you to go kill one African American today because we have an agenda. And they'll be like, no, they'll be like, no, we will take care of everything. We will take care of your family. We will take you somewhere safe. This is what's happening. This is what happens in the back of the door, man. What I'm saying is, like, put yourself in the shoes of the police. You're working in a police office, right? Your colleague kills a white person. Now, in a week, it goes blown. Everyone, there's tension in the police. You, as a police officer, when you go on patrol and you see the next white person doing something scandalous, what will you do? You're gonna arrest them, but you will not try to, like the images of the fact that your colleague killed somebody, they will come into your mind and you're gonna be dead scared. You will not do anything to kill anyone, unless somebody has asked you to do it. Yeah, that's the thing. Why did they not put him in the car after he was handcuffed? He was handcuffed. Look, they arrested him from his car. They handcuffed him in his car. When he came out of his car, when you look at it right, we look at the video. They took him from his car. Not even while he was in his car, there were 2 cops. They took him. They handcuffed him just at the door. While they opened the door, they handcuffed him there. All right, if he was resisting there, they took him from there, and then they took him close to the store. From the store, they put him down. They said he was resisting. Why didn't they take him from the store to the back of their car? All right, this is what happened. They took him, and then they placed him under the tire of the police car. Why didn't they open the door and put him inside? Why did they put him down? Just right where the police car is standing. Why didn't they open the door and put him inside? Why did they put him down on the car, on the tires, man? The car was standing there. Why didn't you just open the door and dump him inside? Why did you put him down and the 4 of you climb on him? Like, Yeah, Ruby says hate crimes, white supremacy. Read what the president tweeted. These cops have support from the community. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that these guys, somebody is telling them, like, look, somebody has an agenda, right? Somebody wants a war in America. So they tell them, like, there are certain cops that they tell. Not every cop. It's not like the commander comes out and say, okay, you guys, when you go out, you meet African Americans today, you should just kill a couple of them. No, there are certain that they choose. All right. It might be certain from the same police department that they choose. It might also be somebody out of the police department that they bring in to help those in the police department to start this war. So this is what happens. Somebody comes and says, okay, you guys are going on patrol today. This is what we want you to do. We will take care of your family, because they have to assure the police that they will take care of their family in case anything happens. They will tell them, we will take care of your family. It doesn't matter. We will take your family to a safe place. When you do this, we will give you, a security. It's just like when somebody commits a crime. For instance, in a gang. For instance, if in a mafia, right? When somebody commits a crime, and you actually arrest somebody who is part of the mafia, you can tell them like this: okay, you give us your people, and then we'll put you in custody, in a protected custody. It's the same thing that they do to the cops. They're like, you go and do this, and then we are going to put you in a safe place. That's what's happening, man. You don't arrest somebody after 5 minutes, they resist for 10 minutes, and then you still have them outside of the car. Why don't you put them in the car? Why do you still have them outside of the car? What are you waiting for? You cannot wait for for more than 10 cops to come for you to actually arrest this guy and put him in the car. When you arrested him, while he was still in his car, why didn't you just put him in your car? Why didn't you put him in your car? Right after they arrested him, right at the door, when they opened the door, right, they arrested this guy. They put handcuffs on him. Why didn't they just take him to their car? Why did they have to put him down close to their car and then sit on him? Four of them, man. Four of them. How big was this guy? So somebody's out there stirring problems because somebody somehow is benefiting out of this chaos, man. It's crazy. Like for people who live in America, I don't know how they feel. African Americans, I'll be there. I'll be dead scared. I don't know how you do it. I don't know. And again, for those who are saying it's is racism, this has nothing to do with racism, because racism is like a general, it's like a general kind of thing that you want to blame the entire white people. It's like when you talk about terrorism, right? When you mention terrorism somewhere, everyone knows like every Arab is a terrorist. No, not every Arab is a terrorist. Most Arabs are not even terrorists, and most terrorists are not even Arabs. That's the thing. Just the same way, like most racists are not even maybe white people. It's just somebody who is stirring the problem, who wants to stir up the hate crimes. That's how it goes, man. But all of this is happening in our generation. In the other generation, when Martin Luther King and was it Ali Muhammad? Yeah, these guys, when these freedom activists, when they were alive, they did something for their community, not just for their community, for the African Americans who were living in America. They made a lot of sacrifices so that African Americans, were able to be where they are right now. But not just for African Americans, for other black people from African countries. They created that space. But for us, it's like, no, we don't have this kind of people, Because for us, the people that we have that have this kind of influence are those who entertain us, the musicians you listen to, the rappers, the R&B guys. These are the people that we have given influence to. So we don't have people like Muhammad Ali. We don't have people like Martin Luther King, who took on their own individual self to be social and freedom activists. We don't have these people. They had their own influence. They created their own influence because of what they did, because of what they believed in, because of what they believed that every individual should be. But those in our culture, in our generation, I'm talking about us millennials, the ones that have this influence, you can't look up to them. Can you look up to the musicians you listen to? Can you look up to them? Do you think that there is a possible way for them that they're going to come together and say that enough is enough? Like, no, we don't want this. Because they are the ones that actually make the world go round. Without the musicians, without anything, without entertainment, without them, the world will not function as it is functioning today, right? But honestly, there is no musician I can't say right now that there's someone or anyone that I know is a celebrity or is popular that I can look up to and say like, okay, this one is going to be our activist. It's going to be our Martin Luther. This is going to be our Muhammad Ali. No, there is none. There is none. But we give them that influence. We follow them. We comment on the things that they do. But right now is the time that we need them. The only like most of the celebrities that I know that have spoken about this is like that. I mean, when I say speak, right, that have asked people to do a certain thing. It's like Ti like three days ago, I think he posted on his Instagram. He was like on July the 7th. No African American should buy anything. Okay, not just African Americans, Hispanic people, Chinese people, Japanese people, any person of color who is in the United States. He said, you guys shouldn't buy anything. Now think about this: if most people don't buy anything, how is the American economy going to function? What is it going to function on? What is it going to function on? Every empire functions only when it has immigrants, only when it has people who come from other countries to work, because the people in that country, those who are the actual citizens of that country, they will never be able to do the amount of labor that foreigners or immigrants are going to do. But then those who are citizens of the country, they'll come out and say they have privilege. Yes, they have privilege. And this is the actual thing. It's like, yo, you have the privilege, you have your color. Because without your colors, you are nothing. You have just your color. That's just it. It's your color that makes you. Without your color, you are nothing. Because that's the only thing certain white people think of. They think only of the fact that their color gives them a certain access, or they are born into a certain place where it has certain opportunities for them more than any other person. But some of them don't use it. They don't use it for good, you know. They don't use it for good. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen before the year goes over, because it's getting hectic. Yeah, Trump was saying that he cannot tolerate the talks that come out and in Minneapolis, in the state. He cannot tolerate it because blah blah blah. They are out there causing looting and causing destruction. And he was saying that he's going to ask the governor of Minneapolis to bring out the National Guard. Yo, is that the solution? These people are angry. They are causing problems because they're angry. Like, shouldn't the problem be faced? So yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm not if I'm not an African American. I'm an African. So whatever happens to any African, I'm gonna try to play a role in one that I know is like they just want certain white people to just to leave them alone, but they don't want to leave them alone. Like African Americans, they're not asking for anything. They're not causing any problems. Why are you killing them? Why do you want to pay? Why are you wasting your energy on that? Why don't you go and be be in your own individual life and space? So that's the problem we have. That's the problem. But I know that somehow there's going to be a change someday. I mean, not in the near future, but someday there's going to be a change. All right, man. I'm glad that some of you came online and spoke. I don't know. I would have loved to speak to someone, but I'm going to go on live again maybe tomorrow or next week. I'm going to get in touch with someone so I can speak with on the public sequence, this platform that I have. So yeah, thank you everyone and who is watching right now. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Stay blessed, everyone. Bye.